Welcome back to another video, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm a full-time options trader and founder of Ophinicus Holdings, the premier options trading community. We're going to be jumping into another trade review here, looking at TWLO, ticker symbol TWLO. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so taking a look at the TWLO chart here, just to provide some context, let's take a look at the notes first. Basically, we had TWLO. It was gapping higher this morning on the news that the CEO buys $10 million worth of stock. Now, as always, I'm not really interested in what the news is. I'm just interested in stocks that are gapping with volume and they have some type of technical setup. I don't like to put my bias on whatever the news may be. In this case, the CEO is buying $10 million worth of stock. Whether or not that is bullish or bearish, my opinion does not really matter. And so looking at the actual price action of the stock, we like to go and start with the daily chart. Now you can see here, looking back on the past few years, this thing is really beaten up about 85% off of the all-time highs made sometime in 2021, so a couple of years ago. But what I'm really focused on is the past couple of months of action. And just to kind of recap what's happened here, what we have is some type of earnings event. Earnings was, maybe it was a miss, maybe they guided lower. Again, I don't really care, but what I see is that price action marked kind of a local low here. Now we put in a month or two of a base, just range trading, sideways action, and then began an uptrend. Now again, this is just a short period of time, and contextually speaking, it's nothing in the grand scheme of things. But I'm only looking at this stock for a day trade, and so I'm mostly focused on the near-term action, what has happened within the recent days, within the recent weeks. And what I have here is an uptrend. Now, following the earnings, kind of gapped up, sold off. We have a retest of the 21 MA. My assumption at this point is that this is just a higher low in the making as part of this uptrend. Sometimes a retest of the 21 MA, traders will consider that a reversion to the mean. And so we can consider this a bit of a reversion to the mean. Now with the news, I have a gap higher. I'm going to be looking at taking this stock long, which is why I had it posted in the notes as a bull bias. So we see TWLO right here under fresh news, bull bias, gap. Watch strength above 67.4 to test 68.5, 70, and 71.5. Now again, all of this right here, the pre-market prep, that's part of what we share with the Traders Think Tank members every single morning. So if you would like access to this and the top ideas that we're going to be watching, join us in the Traders Think Tank. Let's take a look at the intraday chart here. And so TWLO on the 1 minute chart, again, we can see that gap higher. You could see my trigger level here on the chart. What I was looking at comes from the near-term action. I'm looking at the most recent action here on the 15-minute. We could see that there is recent resistance right here around that 67.4, 67.5 area, sold off versus this level again in the days prior. And so after hours, that level was tested, kind of just consolidated from there all through pre-market. And so what I can say is, all right, if buyers go ahead and push this thing up through that level, then I have a decent trade idea here for a long setup. Now, what we saw was an open around 66. Not interested in getting long here. I kind of really want to see these after hours high broken. Otherwise, the worry is that I'm going to be what I call long into resistance. I may be long here. They may push it into this level and it just sells off versus that level. Now, can you scalp that? Of course, but that's not really a trade that I'm interested in taking. And so what I did here was I ended up getting long as price pushed through that pre-market high. Now, I consider this a bit of an aggressive entry, and so I only went in with half size. And the reason being is because we have to look at the context of the move here. We're 3 minutes into the open. This stock is already up 2% by the time I buy. And so I have to think about the risk. Most likely, this could continue as an opening drive trade should, and that's what I was trading here. But I have to consider the risk of a potential pullback, of maybe a retest of VWAP. And so we only go in with half size on this kind of trade when we're up a couple of percent in a short amount of time with no real structure. Now, as I let structure build out, retest and hold VWAP, I can add the second half of my trade once we start to show confirmation that this is holding VWAP and we're going to go for those higher targets. And you can see that in my executions here. So again, what I did, get long on this candle right here as it pushes that pre-market high, kind of up through 67, and then we add the rest of the position right through here as we get confirmation. Now, this stock does have a bit of a wide spread, and so to manage my risk accordingly, I'm going to be offering out into strength of the move, meaning I'm going to be putting some of my contracts out at the ask so that chasers and late traders can take those away from me. I let them cross the spread so I don't have to cross the spread. And so you can see I exited some here just ahead of that PT1 right around 68. I was out of more of the trade into the 68.5 area. And then at this point, I'm only down to runners and I'm out of the rest via offers on this final push higher. Now, it did have the potential to show additional upside. I was all out of the play at this time. This is how I like to manage my trades. Sometimes it means I miss a little bit of additional upside, but this trade was already at 100% gain. And so I'm not too worried about missing additional upside out of a trade like this. I'm already at daily goal. If I miss some upside, it's no big deal. My goal is just to get my piece of the move and move on. Now, if you're wondering where those targets came from, again, it's on the 15-minute chart. I'm just looking at recent highs here. And so once this high at 67.4 is broken, I can reasonably assume that price is going to test this level up through here, this 70. And then if there's really unbelievably strong strength on this news, you know, we may get a test up into here, which I believe is part of a daily level as well, right? And so, yeah, we've got a daily high here. Oh, it's the 200 MA, excuse me, 200 MA. And so it did not end up putting in the entirety of that move. But again, I got my piece. I moved on with my day. Daily goal was hit. Now volume is really coming out of the play. I don't really have any interest in it here. Main move is done. I move on with my day. Hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions, you can always reach me in the Traders Think Tank. I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.